All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our next session is the hospitality effect, how hotel-inspired design is transforming every space with Jessica Haley, Principal and Director of Interior Design, Rohde Architects. Welcome, Jessica.
I'm Jess Haley. I'm principal at Rohde Architects. We're out of Boston, Massachusetts. At Rohde, we practice across a lot of different disciplines. Hospitality just happens to be one of them. But through our hospitality work, we've really been able to develop a very strong creative process. And we've then started to translate that into other sectors that we work in. The reason why we've done this is because our hospitality projects just have this unexplainable richness to them, and we thought every sector should have that same sort of vibe. Before we go any further, really what I want to do is break down what is hospitality design. We all kind of understand what it is, but let's break it down. So what I've done is create 4 key principles that we then try to translate into all of our spaces. Hospitality design is about creating environments that make people feel welcome, comfortable, and cared for. It's where aesthetics meet emotion and function meets experience. So principle number 1, experience-driven design. Hospitality design is all about experience. It's creating this multi-layered, just undeniably memorable experience for our guests. So whether it's a hotel or a restaurant, the goal is to evoke emotion, comfort, and a sense of place. Traditionally, this contrasts with other sectors like workplace or healthcare, which may prioritize other things like efficiency or functionality. So the second key principle, flow and function. It's really important that a project is meticulously choreographed for making it feel effortless. Well-designed spaces balance aesthetics and logistics. Circulation patterns, adjacencies, and back-of-house requirements are just as important as guest-facing design. Every decision, down to a door swing, to banquette spacing, should enhance both guest experience and operational ease. Thirdly, material and sensory integrity. This is all about multi-sensory layering. We can't just rely on that visual. It needs to lean into the tactile richness and sensory engagement, plush fabrics, mood lighting, curated music, signature scents. Again, traditionally, the multisensory layering is less emphasized in institutional corporate sectors where durability, acoustic control, or cost may take precedence. Lastly, something that sets hospitality design apart, especially in hotel design, is this idea of a public-private hybrid. So unlike private home or a purely public institution, hospitality design blends public and private experiences. It has to be inviting to all, yet intimate and comfortable for each guest. This balancing act demands a nuanced understanding of flow, privacy, and openness. So why hospitality design and why now? Why are we starting to use this practice in our other sectors, and why is it working? There's a handful of reasons, but here are a few of them. So 1, this might seem familiar to a lot of us designers, this blurring of work, life, and leisure. This really happened after the COVID pandemic, underscoring the importance of spaces, all spaces, to feel safe, comfortable, and uplifting. And hospitality design's focus on warmth, wellness, and human connection directly answers this need. So secondly, tenant and employee expectations are ticking up. People are becoming just have a better understanding of good design, and they want that fully immersive experiential design no matter where they go. So especially in competitive markets, attracting and retaining talent and tenants means creating spaces that people generally want to be in. We're using hospitality design's attention to comfort, amenities, and experience as a strategy to differentiate offerings and build loyalty. So there's this rise of experience culture happening. Consumers today, they are valuing experiences over products, and they're willing to invest in it. And we're seeing that with our clients. So this mindset has spilled into every space, from offices to apartment buildings, where users now expect environments to feel curated, comfortable, and emotionally engaging. Hospitality design really tells a story, and it has a specific ambiance. Branding. All of our clients want the environment to just be a reflection of the brand. So just as a hotel or a restaurant uses a design to tell a story, brands in all sectors now want environments that reflect their identity. Hospitality design offers a blueprint for integrating brand into spatial experiences, not just through signage, but through materials, lighting, layout, and mood. All right, now that we've kind of covered what is hospitality design and why it's important, let's talk about the how. How at Rhody do we practice this process? So like I mentioned, we've developed a pretty specific process for layering a strong foundation for our hospitality work. I'm going to show you a couple insider secrets and how we do things. So the first thing that we do are these visioning workshops. This is something that we do at the very beginning of the project where we bring all stakeholders to the table. We like to do these in person. And really it's about getting everybody on an even playing ground. We also want to make sure that we're just laying that strong foundation in concept and aesthetics from the beginning and getting that buy-in. So we lead this with in-depth conversations, question and answer. We have visual conversations with our clients. And from the end of that, at the end of that, we feel like we have a good roadmap for the rest of the project. The other thing we do is something that we've coined day in the life user mapping. So this is really getting a good sense of the program. This is, let's think about the users and all of the different user profiles that will be engaging with our space. What we do is create a chronological map of how somebody might be moving through their space throughout the day. And what this does is it starts to define an appropriate program by making a kind of a priority list of what is needed. Especially in urban environments, which we often are times working in, we are limited in square footage. So it's important to sort of prioritize how we're using it. So we're not only looking at the property at hand, we're also looking at the neighborhood around it. What amenities are already there? What do we need to make sure that we fill in with this new product? So with those things kind of behind us, we then kind of dive into the research and really start to develop that strong storytelling. What is the backstory of this concept? So we dig in, we research, we conceptualize, we spitball, we like to sit in a room and do this together as a team. And then all these pieces just start to fall into place, fulfilling that vision and the need for the user. So it's kind of like developing that North Star that's going to guide us through the entire process. So with that strong foundation in place, the rest of the process should go pretty smoothly. Everybody's bought in, everybody kind of understands. This takes a little bit more time at the beginning, but we find that it helps us as we develop the design, and it creates a successfully executed product. To round this out, what I'd like to do is show a real-time case study and how we at Rhody Architects develop our projects and show you how we've actually layered on hospitality design approach to our other sectors. So I've chosen the multifamily residential project to showcase. This is a project in Boston, Massachusetts. It is a recently completed condo building called 1515 Commonwealth. So a little bit of backstory on the concept and the vision. So when we started to dig in, it's really about the location. This concept is pulled from the location specifically. It's an interesting high point of Boston. It's the highest hill in all of Boston. You kind of get up to the hill and you're in this wonderful park and you move through this great urban landscape into the building. There's a lot of history on this site. It's the former Rose Wharf quarry. This quarry actually supplied a lot of the stone that Back Bay was built from. So our design team found inspiration in the type of stone that was mined from the property. It was kind of a conglomerate, think like a terrazzo, but a little rougher. And what was interesting, there was a lot of like gemstones and things like that that were pulled out of it. Jasper was one of them. So our whole kind of concept was pulled from the idea of jasper. There's this elevated experience. Jasper is a gemstone that's known for organized, structured, parallel lines, and its balancing properties that bring tranquility, support, and wholeness. So this led to developing our North Star for the project. We wanted to create a space that felt slick, organized, balanced, symmetrical, strong, and timeless. We also did our day in the life study here. So we brought a tenant through from day to night, and we developed a unique amenity program based on what we understood about the site, the neighborhood, and also made sure that we were standing apart from our competitors in the market. So here are some images of the final product. And what I want to do is just walk you through some of the elements of this design that specifically highlights our hospitality approach. So first things first. I don't know if you can see that, but yes, I do have an undergrad in fine arts, so I just wanted to show that off. But first thing is making sure that the first thing that happens when you walk into the space is human interaction. So this seems obvious, but there are just want to make sure you're being very intentional about these decisions. First thing you walk into is a smiling concierge, somebody that's there to say, I can help you if you need it. That is the root of hospitality. Secondly, this space is unique in its space plan for various reasons. It's a very long journey from the front door to the elevator core. So it was important for us to start pushing people through and using the space planning to make it intuitive to move through the space. So by curving walls and then also placing the branding further into the space to then draw people in further than just that front door. We started thinking about that public-private, how is this different from other spaces, and making sure that we're using all of our square footage to the best of our ability. We are in an urban setting with kind of a tight footprint, so every space needs to be usable. So you can see here that we have some semi-private seating areas, some public seating areas, and then also some fully private areas, so that there's just something for everybody. Beyond space planning, then we start to layer on those design elements that are starting to create our aesthetic. We're bringing biophilic design in. We have multiple layers of lighting, including decorative, ambient, and mood lighting. And then we have a variety of different textures and materials that are all kind of going back to that original concept. This is looking further into the space, and now you can see that long journey down the corridor there. And what we started to do is, instead of having this kind of long, boring journey down to your elevator core, we wanted to create an experiential journey. So the first thing we did was create these portals, these arch portals. The first little portal, you have some interesting dynamic mood lighting, some dark finishes. And then the second portal leads you into a gallery space. That little gallery space is rotating local art. And then the third portal, you're finally going up to your unit. The other thing I just wanted to highlight in this project, and it's something that we all kind of deal with on all of our projects, is seating and having a good variety of seating for all the different user profiles that we have identified at the beginning of our process. So some people like to be social. Some people don't like to be social, but they still want to be out of their unit. And you just need to make sure that you're thinking through everybody that's going to be using the space and giving them their own place. This is their home, after all. So we have spaces that people can be together in a social environment or in a work environment. And then we have places that people can be separate, but still sort of part of the fray. So we have these playful swings that people can sit on, or we just have these kind of passive stools that people can look out at the beautiful landscaping. So why does hospitality work? Hospitality designs creates environments that feel intentional, thoughtful, and personal. It goes beyond aesthetics and make people feel comfortable and considered, and that mindset is now being applied across all sectors. So making it work for your project, so some key notes. Ask, how do you want your users to feel? Build from a clear concept and align every detail to that vision. Whether it's housing, campus amenities, or office, start with the story. It keeps your team aligned, your space purposeful, and the end users more emotionally connected. Thank you.